Hey guys, it's Anthony. If you're going to be at PAX this weekend, come check me out. I'm on a couple panels. Saturday at 7:30 p.m. in the Hedgehog Theater. I will be recording Chainsaw Suit live with Chris Straub and Mikey Newman. Sunday morning at 11 a.m. I will be on the Destructoid panel. It's called Video Games Are Stupid, and that's got Max Scoville, Adam Kovic, Bill Zoker, and Jack DeVries. Come check them out and say hey.
We Have Concerns is made possible entirely through donations from listeners like you. A little can go a long way. Visit patreon.com/wehaveconcerns to lend your support.
I like PAX. It's more like I like going to events like that because I like catching up with people I haven't seen more than I like.
That's the best part of all that stuff is the cool dinners and seeing people that are all around the country converging in one spot. It's great. Yeah. And then there are video games, I guess, too. That's pretty all right. That's pretty all right. Speaking of pretty all right, this is We Have Concerns. Hello, Anthony Carboni.
Hey, Jeff Canada.
Do you like being tracked, your every move?
I do. And if you can find my Craigslist ad for it, I actually like to be hunted.
Oh.
Yeah.
You are the most dangerous game.
That's right.
So I got this article.
It's the only time I feel alive. Hunt me.
This article was actually sent in by my fiance, who is concerned about this type of thing. She saw this article on junkie.com. It says, proof that Google Maps has been tracking your every move. And in fact, there's a website that you plug in whatever the email address that you have with your associated with your phone. And as long as you have location services turned on, it shows a graph, giant red lines of every place you visited over the last month. So you can actually chart every place you've been, every store you went to, every time you took a walk.
Every breath you take, every move you make.
I'll be watching you.
Is your fiance 70 years old? That's just a question.
Is that age is just a number? Why is that weird? If she is,
it's not weird. It just makes a lot of sense because this has been a big headline in a lot of places. And who didn't know this?
Well, I don't think we didn't know this. I think she gets disturbed when she sees graphical representation of such.
We only get disturbed when somebody throws it in our face. Here's the deal, man.
Well, are you just saying out of sight, out of mind then?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because here's the deal. When you're driving in your car and you're like, oh, I need to go to this place, and you have to look down and you're not supposed to be holding your phone and you're in traffic and you type the first 3 numbers of a place you've already been before, you go, oh, thank goodness, Google Maps saved that. And now it's in there automatic. And I just hit it and I just tap it and it's, where the fuck do you think that's being saved? They know when you were there. They know every time you put something into Google. Why? How is this a surprise? How come whenever something like this comes out, it's a fucking surprise to people?
Well,
if you don't like it, don't use this shit.
I'm kind of in your camp too, although I'd never use that tone with my fiance. But the thing that's interesting to me about it,
but you have to use that volume level because at 70 years old, her hearing's basically gone.
She's a lovely elderly woman, and she is effervescent.
Do you want me to show you how to block this episode on your firewall?
Can we do that?
Yeah,
so she'll never hear it?
She can never hear it.
Here's several thoughts this brought up. First of all, I'm in your camp. I kind of dig this. I've been on record before on this show talking about how big data to me is an opportunity, not an oppression.
Yeah.
I feel like there's going to be some future scenario where I can meet someone for the first time. I can go, oh my God, hi, I'm Jeff, you're Anthony. Oh, we met for the first time. Let's run this app on our phones and we can see every place we've been in the same place at the same time in our life. And it's like, oh my God, it's so crazy that we never met before and we were in all these 62 different places together.
It's called Cusack-ing. After the movie Serendipity. And what you do is you hit a button and it gives you your Cusack index.
I like that.
With somebody else. And it's like, this is how many times you've run into each other. And then at the end, it tells you just yes or no whether you're made for each other or not.
Easy.
And if it says no, you can walk away and never speak to that person again.
It will clearly say that you're very young for me. I'm into the older ladies.
Yeah.
I just feel like that is awesome, interesting information. And to have this catalog, this index of every place I've ever been in my life, I think can be valuable to me. Now, of course, the flip side of that is they be watching you, they be knowing where you go. And if you ever run afoul of the law or, God forbid, corporations bleed the line between the law and oversees this.
God forbid that finally happens.
Well,
and sends our society over the brink.
Okay.
God forbid the line is finally blurred.
All right. Point taken. We're already living in that future. But am I just a naive, trusting person that I don't... Okay.
Yes, you absolutely are.
Should I change my position on this?
Nah.
No?
Here's the deal, man. The belief that a corporation is going to track you, do evil with you, do horrible things, and make it look like it was you all comes down to the human illusion that you are the main character in the story. That's really all it comes down to. Now listen, you just don't mean anything to Dow Chemical. Dow Chemical doesn't give a fuck where you went today.
I'm a potential dollar sign to them.
Yeah, sure. Listen, man, if you buy some Windex, they're stoked. Other than that, they don't give a fuck what you do with your life. Do you want to kill someone and dump their body in your car? Listen, as long as you use some Windex afterwards to clean that car, they're perfectly happy. The most Dow Chemical is going to do with this information is be like, hey, looks like you just killed a hooker. Here's 50% off Windex.
Windex. It'll get the brain splatters out.
That's what it is. The idea that a government and a corporation are going to do evil things with your data on an average day, really nil. Really nil.
Until you wake up on an unaverage day.
Sure. And
an exceptional day.
And that's just a really wonderful day.
Oh, man, it feels great today.
Just a great day for jackboots. Did you ever see that musical, A Great Day for Jackboots?
It was transcendent. The final number when they all line up and just go through the barricade of the door.
955,600 jackboots. Curb stomping everyone and taking their freedom. Talking about freedom! No.
It wasn't the most original. The tunes were a little derivative, I'd say. But,
yeah, I feel like I've heard that melody somewhere before, but I don't know where. And I would never say for fear that they're listening. But I think the idea that Google is going to do something terrible with this, probably not. But yeah, can the government subpoena Google? Yeah.
Well, I feel like you're talking out of both sides of your mouth here then, because now you're saying, on the one hand, I'm naive, and I think you were implying stupid. I don't know. I was just picking that up. You were laying it down.
You'll know when I'm calling you stupid, Jeff Canada.
And on the other hand, you're saying, well, it's likely not going to happen, which is sort of my position of like, I'm not worried about it.
Mathematically, you're naive to think that this data will never be misused, but I'm saying that I don't think the data will be misused in a way that the far, far end of the paranoid spectrum thinks it's going to be misused.
Right.
I just don't think you're that important. I mean, you're important to me.
Oh, so you'll misuse my data?
I'll misuse your data, buddy.
Oh.
All day, every day.
You say the nicest things.
Yeah. I'm going to make it look like you killed that hooker. And then I'm still going to take the Windex coupon.
Damn it, I needed that.
Because that's the nature of our friendship.
If I'm going to kill a hooker, I'm not going to spend an extra 49 cents on Windex.
I'm going to check her closet to see if she already has Windex.
She might.
She might?
Is there any potential upside to this data? I find, this Cusack index.
Yeah.
The Cusack app is one example, I think, of a way this could really be a cool additive to life. I feel like having this data isn't all bad.
No, I don't think it is either. It's easier for me to imagine the positive uses of this. Like that, those are the things that come into my head more and more often, right?
Right.
Things like you said, where if I meet somebody, I can see where I've met them before and I didn't know it. Or right now, there's an app that I'm using that when I meet someone and I put their contact info into my phone, it goes, okay, you're putting the contact info in here and now. Is this where you met this person?
Right.
And I go, oh, yeah, it is. This is where and when I met this person. If I get a call from this person all of a sudden 6 months from now, and I don't really remember who they are, pops up and it goes, hey, it's this guy. You met him here on this date.
Right.
Here's his Facebook. Oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
I was using something called Exist, which takes like Fitbit data and Spotify data and location data and all this stuff and mashes it together. And it goes, hey, man, did you know that on a day where you get up earlier than 7 a.m., you actually seem to be happier? Like it tells me that. Like I look at that and it goes, oh, shit, I hate getting up at 6 a.m. and I feel like shit when I do it. But it's right. I got more steps in that day. I listened to more music. I crossed more things off my to-do list.
Yeah.
It's right. I wake up feeling like shit, and I tell myself there's no reason to wake up this early because I feel like shit. But then I look at this app and like, there are the numbers, dude. That's what happened. You've got this off-board brain thing happening, which is great for somebody like me who just has the most scattered of brains. I always know where I was and what I did and what happened and who I was with. Mm-hmm. I'm also not very self-aware. And when we know that too.
Yeah.
It tells me things that I didn't know about myself, and it presents it as data that I cannot argue with.
Right.
And I like that. I think all of these things are cool. And I think that comes with the fact that Google knows what I already thought it knew. Well, fine. I already thought it knew that.
Yeah, I think that the real application for this data for big corporations, and you're right, it's not you're the star of your own story. It's
you're not the enemy of the state.
It's not the specific you that they're worried about. It's the you in aggregate.
Yes.
It's the 500,000 yous that all live in your neighborhood and all go to the same 6 spots, and there's a 7th spot that just opened, and wants those 500,000 people to go to that 7th spot, and so it's going to buy that data and go, oh, how can we place advertising along the route that most people go to, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it gets a little, I mean, you give up the data and you get a world based on data, right? You kind of believe that it's going to create that perfect world, that Isaac Asimov world, right? It's going to be the foundation world, and that's going to be rad.
That's what I want.
But there are a lot of people out there right now that are fighting for personal rights and are saying that, no, this is going to be a world like when we talked about the Facebook thing last week. This is an algorithmic world, and they're going to show you algorithmic things. And sometimes that's going to be in your best interest, and sometimes it's not. And you may not know that there is an alternative because they're only showing you the things that are targeted to you.
Right.
That's an issue. And then there are whole conferences like DEF CON and things like that where people get up and they talk about, here's exactly what's known about you right now. Mm-hmm. And here's what that means for you if you are a whistleblower or somebody who is under suspicion of something, or you work within a corporation and they just want to keep tabs on you. Right? Here's what they can do with that data. And it can be very, very, very shocking. And the problem is the balance between data and transparency. How do you stay transparent about the way you're using data without giving up everybody's data in order to prove it?
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
It's a tough thing because, you feel like, oh, I live a fairly normal life. I'm not doing anything illegal. There's no but then you can be thrust into these situations that you weren't prepared for. Mm-hmm. You can be butting up against, as you say, you can, all of a sudden you are subpoenaed in a court case that you're only peripherally associated with. Yeah. And now you are associated with something that you didn't think you were, and all this information is out there about you. And it can be scary, and I can totally see where people like my fiance get creeped out by it. There's a creepiness to feeling like you are in a police song. They are always watching you. I'm just so much more excited by the possibilities of the data than intimidated by the ramifications,
Dude, I'm not doing anything. You know what I mean? Like, and when I say that, I don't mean that in terms of anything illegal or terrible. I mean, I'm just literally not doing anything. Like, it's
your graph when you put it in is like, boy, it's more of a dot than a graph.
He just keeps going back and forth between the kitchen and the couch.
Yeah. The thing I'd be most worried about anybody plugging my info in is seeing how often I go to Chipotle. Like, people would be like, that's just unhealthy.
That's just not right.
It's scary how often this guy goes to Chipotle. He should not be eating a burrito this many times in a week. But you know what the thing is? I would say in response to that, everybody, a burrito never doesn't sound good.
Sometimes you just get a burrito bowl. You get a bowl.
Is there, honestly, how many times have you ever heard someone say, do you want a burrito? And your brain goes, that doesn't sound good.
No,
that never happens.
Never once.
It's not my fault that someone invented a food stuff that is always palatable. I didn't ask for that.
Yeah, there used to be one meal a day where you could say no to burritos, and it was breakfast. But now we have breakfast
burrito.
And so it's all over.
Breakfast burrito, fucked that.
Do you know what? A burrito, to me, feels like, and especially a breakfast burrito, like just perfect space food. Like it's the closest thing I have to being in the future or being an astronaut, because here's every part of the meal wrapped up in this little tube, and it just all gets delivered to me.
Yeah, it's a spaceship for your mouth.
It's a mouth ship.
The perfect mouth ship.
It's the mouth ship of the imagination.
And it's so delicious.
Man, follow me to the burrito place, Google.
Yeah.
And listen, get that data. See how often I go to the burrito place, and give me all the burrito coupons.
Oh. See, now we're in a magical future of coupons.
In a magical world where Groupon rules everyone with an iron fist. we wanted to go to the doctor. But do 50 of you want to go to the doctor?
It's like, honey, how come we're getting all these coupons for hookers?
And Windex. I appreciate the Windex coupons, but I would really like to know why we're getting so many hooker coupons.
Why are you asking me so many questions? I mean, are you enjoying the Windex or not?
Well, number one, let's not do gender roles right now. Okay? I am your wife. And you can't just throw Windex coupons at me. You horrible, horrible man.
We've established that my fiance's never listening to this episode, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, or maybe this is the one that she needs to listen to before September 17th. This is the one episode she needs to listen to before the wedding day. Get out. Get out while you can.
She's also going to realize how often I have burritos, which is not good. See, I can't be watched, man. I can't be watched.
It turns out the big date is bad. What do you think she'll be more angry about? Hookers or burritos? What will she...
Are we leaving out the fact that I insinuated she was old? That's old, 70 years old?
She was an old housewife that only likes to clean. Yeah.
What's she used to like this show. Not anymore.
Used to.
And she used to like me.
Yeah.
Which is even more... I just like the idea of being able to
If there are apartments in the Groupon future, Jeff Cannata is looking for 47 roommates to fulfill the Groupon future coupon.
I just like the idea of being able to cross-reference all the data from my life. To be able to have one place. I got really into, in college mostly, I got really into journaling.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I looked at journaling not as a place to pour out all my feelings. It wasn't a diary. Mm-hmm. It was more of a record because
buddy. Whatever you say. Whatever you say, tough guy.
No, it was super masculine and awesome.
Yeah,
it was like
of course.
Maybe I drew some things. Maybe I had pictures of myself in there.
Yeah, what kind of pictures?
Well, just maybe me in superhero costumes.
Yeah,
possibly,
sure.
Maybe,
okay.
but probably not.
Do any of them have like little spots of water? Definitely water, not tears, but water. Like,
yeah, definitely. There's no tears.
No,
it's not a book of tears.
No, of course not. Like
I would never refer to it as my little book of tears.
No, they're certainly not on there in puffy glitter paint. It's not Jeffy's little book of tears.
And I would never keep it under my pillow at all times.
God, no. And it doesn't have like a tiny little key that you always wear around your heart.
Right.
That's a different tiny little key that you wear all the time.
That is
the key to your gun locker.
It's a key to my awesome gun locker that I need.
For the end times.
Right.
So anyway, you were writing in your baby diary.
Yeah, exactly. And but because I felt like I have a terrible memory. I love the fact that when I would look through my journal, I'd go, oh yeah, I totally forgot that I was there, but just seeing the fact that I was there.
I totally forgot that I wrote my first name and this person's last name with hearts over the eyes.
And I had put it out of my mind that I was ever in that psychological state because it was too painful to relive. But now looking back on it,
Mr. Jeff Catalano,
all of the memories flood back and the tears come back to the surface once again. Boy, I sure enjoy those times.
My thing is this. I'm always collecting the data, right? Like you say, like you could do journal entries, you could do blog posts, you could do Fitbit, you could do all this stuff. And you're constantly taking the data and recording the data. But like, do you go back and look at the data? Like, does anybody go back enough and read over, like how long would it take you to read over your journal to the point where you get all the data back?
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
Are we just putting it there because... Is this just a human hoarding, I exist, look at me thing? Like, what is this?
Well, that's where the big Googleification of it all comes. It takes the data...
And puts it in the basket.
Yeah, it takes the data and it puts it in the basket. A way to organize the data in a way that's useful, so I can find out, oh my gosh, I've been these many places, I've done these many things, or like I said, I've bumped into certain individuals and have, I can compare my graph to their graph, and then we can come to. It's kind of what LinkedIn does.
Yeah,
it goes,
gross.
Oh, you don't like LinkedIn?
Fuck a LinkedIn.
But it's a useful thing to say.
Wait. I like the way you said that with like a little bit of heartbreak. Like LinkedIn is the cool place where everybody goes.
It's not the cool place, but I think it's a useful tool to say.
You don't like LinkedIn?
It's a useful tool.
But I thought we could hang out on LinkedIn later. And
maybe we could compare previous jobs.
Fuck, man.
We both worked at the same company. Don't you remember?
I don't understand.
LinkedIn will tell you if you don't remember.
Your fucking wistful tone. Like, oh, you don't like LinkedIn? What a shame. And you just kind of looked off into the sunset or some shit. It's fucking LinkedIn. My dad uses it to put his resume on the internet.
Yeah.
It's what? Oh man.
If
only we all liked LinkedIn.
I'm getting at is the conversion points.
Yeah.
It's saying, oh, I worked with somebody who worked with somebody else, and that somebody else is a person that I'd like to know, but I didn't know that this person knew that. I mean, I guess Facebook does the same thing, but in a business context, it feels like a more dry data point comparison.
Yeah. I mean, you know me. I'm very interested in like the things that I talked about earlier, where it's the personal algorithm that looks at everything that I'm doing through my day and tells me more about me. Like, I love hearing about me. I think I'm great. What I don't like, and we know this, is I don't like people finding me on the internet.
Right. Or talking to you anyway.
Or just being...
And that's A Carboni, at A Carboni on Twitter.
At A Carboni. No, but you know me. I have walls. There are different data walls, and I put everything into little data compartments. And I guess this is the part where people would expect me to be like, ew, gross, Google Maps, because I don't like being tracked, followed, found. I don't like being found. Don't find me, and when you find me, don't talk to me. And don't talk to me about your day. That's me. But the map data is compartmentalized, right? Google knows where I went. That's a Google thing. That's between me and Google. And as long as that's as long as that's a secret between me and Google.
Basically what you're saying is you trust Google more than any person.
I trust Google more than people. Isn't that weird?
That's
weird when you say it like that, and I feel weird now that I know that that's true about me. And it's kind of like, Jeff, you're kind of like an app. You're kind of like an app that tells me about me.
Oh,
and I think that's maybe what I like best about you.
The biggest compliment you could give me,
yeah.
From your perspective.
What I like about you is the realizations that you lead me to have about me.
This is the most revealing episode of We Have Concerns yet, folks.
Oh,
we got down to the real shit. And you know how we did it? Big data.
Big data. So think about that. Stick that in your privacy and smoke it, America. No, how do you guys feel about this? Are you worried about being tracked? Are you fine with data? What are the boundaries? Let us know what you think. You can do it on the Patreon feed for this episode. We're going to be checking out the comments all today. Yep. You can also hit us up on Twitter. I'm at A Carboni.
And I'm at Jeff Cannata.
And just don't you go looking for me on Facebook. You use the two forms of communication that I just gave you.
Tell Anthony about him.
Well, you can, if you want to write to me about cool things about me, I'll give you an email address. Tweet at me, I'll give it to you. It's nice things about Anthony at anthonycarboni.com.
It's at narcissism.net.
I would join narcissism.net.